Hello and welcome to my chess lesson. Attack the vulnerable point, part 8. Okay, you can have a look at this position. So here, white has a hidden vulnerability. Can you spot it? So where is the hidden vulnerability here? If you observe deeply, you can find a hidden vulnerability here. Okay. So see the placement of these pieces, the queen and the bishop and the knight. Okay, so they are placed on the d file, and these pieces are exposed to attack tactically. You can see rook c d8 is too strong here. Okay, at first when you look at rook c d8, it looks like the rook is not well placed there, because it looks like it's placed on a line where it is pinned, and it looks like e5 is a potential threat. Okay, but rook c d8 is not dangerous here because they can't play e5. If they play e5, we can take on e5, and the coordination between these two pieces breaks. And if they take knight e5, we can take queen takes d4. So again we can win more pieces. So that's why rook c d8 is too strong here. Okay, so now knight e5 is a threat. So let's say they play rook e2. Okay, now how to attack here? So the d file is so vulnerable, right? All these pieces are going to get exposed into attacking line. So there's so much pressure on the d file. So we need to first unlock the d file. So what we can do is we can place the knight to e5. Okay, and it looks like bishop f6 ruins the pawn structure, but there's no problem here because if they take, we can take with the g pawn, and we have the dark square bishop, so it protects these squares. So there's no problem here. The king is not weak because we have the bishop here, and our attack on the d file is so fast here. So we have a lot of threats here. Okay, so if bishop f6, g f6 is okay. Still, we can win because knight e5. We can just take queen takes d4 first. After which you can see the knight is attacked. If the knight moves, then the bishop is lost. Okay, so hardly they can try this. Knight g4. Okay, knight g4. We can. I think they're attacking the h6. Okay, so there are a few options here. Okay, there's a problem in the back rank. So we can consider taking on d3, but we should see knight f6. Okay, let's say if we take here, knight f6, check. So let's move because king g7, knight e8 is coming. So king h8, and if they take, we can take on d2. They take, and this is okay. Still we have the double bishop, so it's too strong. Okay, so this is one simple winning line. The other options are like you can see already the bishop is hanging, and there is a potential back rank problem here. So f5 is more strong. Actually f5 is tactically too strong. You can see if they take, now can you see what is coming? So first rook takes e2, so they won't be able to take with the bishop because the queen is hanging, and if they take with the queen, we can take. Okay, so anyway, after knight e5, bishop f6 is not dangerous for black, and black continues the attack on the d file. The d file is so vulnerable for them. So this is the idea. So rook c d8. Okay, let's say they play rook e2. We can play knight e5. And let's say they capture on e5 with the knight. Okay. Now which piece do we need to capture? The e5 knight or the d4 knight? We can think here. We should capture the e5, no, not e5 knight, the d4 knight. Because this e5 knight is once again attacked by the queen. And also you can see the d3 bishop is hanging if the knight moves. Okay. And here too, bishop f6 is not a problem because we can always take with the pawn. So when they move the knight, we can take the bishop. Okay. So this is too strong. So queen takes d4. Now the knight is attacked. And if they move the knight, the bishop is hanging. So therefore they have to play g5. I mean not g5, f4. First they have to play f4. Okay. So first f4 and then we play g5. Right, we'll break this coordination. So we have to play g5, breaking the pawn chain. It's too good. Also bb4 is also very strong here. Attack the queen. Okay, let's see. We can first improve the bishop here. Attack. Okay, so they have to go back and they have to place the queen where it's not exposed. So queen c1. Okay, here for queen c1 we want to take this. This knight is holding, so we want to weaken this knight position. So we can play g5. G5 is not risky. Usually moving the king side pawns looks risky in general, but here it's not the case because if they take, we can first take on e5, and then if they take, we can take on d3. So they don't have enough time to play this because they have the back rank problems here. You can see that. Okay. Also we have the bishop here to defend, so that's not a big issue. So g5 was played. For g5 they have to move now. Let's see, they can't move bishop g3. If they move bishop g3, we can break this coordination. First I think we can first go g takes f4. This is too strong because this queen is not really in the position to defend. Like if they go queen takes, we can go, yeah, we can go queen takes e5. This is one simple winning line. So they have to take. Okay, we can take and they can take. So this piece is not vulnerable actually because we have enough time to defend that. First we can go rook d3. So they have to deal the back rank problems. So they don't get enough time to capture the knight. Okay, so that's the point here. So you can see g5. So for g5, therefore they have to play bishop f2, gaining a tempo, trying to attack the queen. Okay. So anyway, we need to keep an eye on the d3 bishop. So what we can do is we need to move in such a way where we can attack that. Also next move we can weaken this knight position. So we can go queen to d6, which is strong here. So we are going to take on f4, and once we take, the e5 knight is weakened, and you can see the d3 bishop is also hanging. Okay, let's say if they play g3, let's say what happens here. G3 makes this light squares more vulnerable, right? So what we can do, we can just take it, and let's say they take, we can go here, queen takes, they take, and this is one vulnerable point now. Okay, so we have the bishop, so we can generate a strong threat. So we can just go queen f3, king g1, and this rook is not really able to move here because we have rook d1. So we can just open this line, and bishop takes e4 is coming, and the diagonal is so weak for them. You can see they won't be able to even use the rook because this rook is coming to d1 if they move the rook. Okay, so this is too strong, so let's go back. So therefore they can't play g3. So let's say they try bb6. Okay, they are trying to complicate the game to get some materials in return. Okay, anyway, we have to first take. Okay, we can take. We can weaken this position. Once this knight is weakened, the bishop will fall. So let's say they capture on d8. We can recapture with the queen, because if we recapture with the rook, the problem is the e5 knight is not attacked by the rook, so they have time to play queen takes f4. Okay, so this knight they can now save it. Okay, so what we can do, we can take with the queen. So the point is still this knight is under attack. Okay, so if the knight moves, we can take the bishop. So let's say they capture. Now we want to take the knight. Actually, rook e5 is possible here. Rook e5, queen e5, queen takes d3. This is still possible, but there is a more simple winning line here. So what we can do, we can target this knight. Once you attack the knight, then you'll be able to win the bishop. So we can place the bishop to d6, which is quite strong. So the knight is hanging now. See, it's attacked. So they can't move. If they move, the queen is lost. So they will give a check here. And we should not move king to f8. Okay, king f8 or king h8. Anywhere where they can release the knight with a check. So we should not move there. So we have to play king h7. At first sight, it looks very dangerous. It looks like we are placing the knight on the line of the bishop. But remember, they can't move the knight. If they move the knight, you're going to win the queen. So this knight is hanging. So they try to balance it technically with rook c5. So the point is, we can't take it, because if we take, still it's going to be very dangerous, because knight f7 is coming, followed by e5. So you see, still they have pieces to attack. So we can't underestimate this. So what we need to do here is, we need to add more pressure to this knight. So we need to defend the f7 also. So we can go queen to c7, which is very strong. Queen c7. Okay. After queen c7, let's say they make a queen sacrifice, knight g4. See, they are making the best moves here. Okay. So we have to take the queen. So knight takes f6. Now it's very important we don't play king to g7. If we play king g7, knight e8 is coming. And also we can't play king g6, because still it's exposed to attack in this line with the bishop. So we have to go king h8, which is forced. So let's say they capture. Okay, now we have to look at the pieces which are vulnerable, which we can reach them. Okay, so you see this bishop is there, this knight is also there. So we can give a double attack. Okay, queen d8 is strong actually, but there is more stronger move. Queen e7. Queen d8 is one attack, but queen e7 is more strong, because this rook we can take. Right, so that is the threat. So we are going to take. So also this is a double attack. Okay, two types of double attack is there. Either queen d8 attacks the bishop and the knight, and queen e7 attacks the knight and the rook. So let's say they play rook f5, rook f5. So if we take on e8, they are going to take on g3. So if we take, they will take this. Okay, so here our advantage is not great. So it's still they have double rooks. So what we need to do is, first we need to play queen to h4. Why queen h4? Because we need to secure this bishop. Now it's hanging, right? So queen h4 threatens h2. So once they move the pawn to h3, now this bishop is not hanging anymore. So we can move the queen back. Now these two pieces are exposed, right? So we can find a square where we can give a double attack. So queen has to go to d8. So attacking the e8 knight as well as the d3 bishop. So they move rook e3, so they can defend the bishop. At the same time, they can attack the g3 bishop. Okay. So here we need to break the coordination. Black needs to activate his pieces. Okay. So one good idea is you need to get this bishop, because this bishop is not doing anything. So we need to move the bishop to c8. So attacking the rook. Okay. So let's say they capture on f7. Usually they don't capture, because if they capture, you have a chance to attack the knight, and as soon as you capture the knight, you are attacking the rook. So they don't have time to capture the bishop. So what they do is they will place in a square where it doesn't get attacked immediately. Okay, so rook f6 is one option. Okay. So now we need to protect this bishop, because this bishop is hanging. Anyway, this piece is a guaranteed one. So what we can do, we can put the bishop to e5, attacking the rook. Okay, so the rook takes on h6, so king has to go to g8. Okay, and you can see these two rooks are also exposed to attack. So this is one threat if allowed. Okay, so they take, and here it's very important to take the knight. Okay, once you capture, we have material advantage, but black plays even more stronger. Bishop to d7, developing the piece and then staking. So rook went to c5. Okay, if rook went to c5, we can always take on e8. Okay, so rook goes to c5, we can take. So in the game, knight went to f6. Okay, bishop can take, there's no problem. So rook g3 check. So we can go to f8. Okay, so it is free from attacks and it's a safe spot. So rook c5. Now how can we attack? So back rank, they have problems, so we need to find a way to enter. Okay, so queen a5 is one entry spot here. So queen a5. Okay, and you can see this pawn is a long-term weakness, like it can fall anytime. Once it falls, you have a chance to push. Okay, so that you have to keep in mind. Okay, so after queen a5, let's say they block with the bishop, so we need to quickly attack. So queen e1, so rook f3. Okay, so it's they defend and they are attacking, so we can gain a tempo. So bishop to d4. So they play rook c2. Okay, now how to continue here? There's a strong move for black. Okay, so we can play queen to d1, attacking this rook, because this rook is also not well placed. So they play rook c7. Okay, f7 needs to be defended anyway, so bishop can come to e6. Okay, rook b7. Now the b pawn is under attack, but how to break this coordination? The bishop and the rook, so we have to block this line, right? So we can add some power, so we can play queen e1. Now the threat is bishop f2. So if they take, we can play bishop f2 and the coordination breaks. And if they play rook c7, still we can play bishop f2. So black wins, and there's no option for white. So black wins here, because this bishop is lost anyway. Okay. Okay, so we will see more ideas related to this in the next upcoming video. Thank you.